And welcome back. This is Casey Radio 97.7 FM, the sound of the Southeast. And your program is Women of Today. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Maria. And we've got the privilege of speaking with Brian McAleer. He's a life coach and a youth empowerment coach, which I think is so important for our community. And he's just launched a book, The Smartest Method. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my book, which was just released online this week on Monday. So it has been a big week, as you said before. And my book's called Setting Goals Using the Smartest Method. And what the Smartest Method is, it's a strategy of setting goals I came up with actually a few years ago. I sort of first conceived it and then developed it over time. And there's the SMART way of setting goals, which a lot of people know and use. And I was using the SMART way of goals for a while, but I felt that there was something missing from that. Like, it was helping me develop my goal in a plan and figure out the when and where of why I was going to do it. And then after I'd written it down, I was it was lacking something. Like, I'd written this goal, but I wasn't really inspired to start, and it kind of felt like it was just me who knew about this goal, and there was no one out there who knew about it or who could support me. So adding a few extra letters to the method to make it the smartest method, it now has an element to it which is really important in setting goals. So the S.M.A.R.T. usually stands for small, specific, achievable, attainable, measurable, manageable, achievable, attainable, realistic and relatable, time-framed or task-orientated. So the additional three letters, the E stands for excited and energized. Now, when we work on a goal, there needs to be energy and excitement about it, because a goal is really just to achieve an outcome, and when that outcome happens, that outcome can just come and go in a minute, and then we're left feeling a little bit empty, like, oh, that's it, I've achieved my goal, like, now what? But, the real value of any goal is the process of working on it, because that's where you learn about yourself, that's where you get to experiment and try all these different approaches. So injecting energy and excitement into that process is really important, and the S of the smartest method stands for stated and shared. So what I mean by stated is that you have to state what your goal is, and that comes from being assertive and having integrity, so doing what you say you're going to do. Not just talking about your goal and what you intend to do, but actually saying what you will do and following through on it. The shared aspect of it is really important, because accountability is so useful in achieving anything. And if you think of someone who goes to the gym and just works out by themselves, after a little while they might lose motivation and focus and give up. But the person who hires a personal trainer to work with them one-on-one is going to succeed and go a lot further, because they're sharing their goal and what they want with another person. That person holds them accountable and supports them along the way, which is really important with any goal, because we can feel like it's just us working on it. No one knows about it, and sometimes we just need someone to come along and give us that push and that nudge, and someone to believe in us and ask us, how's it going? What have you done this week? And someone who wants to see you succeed and will be there when you cross the finish line. And then the last letter, the T, stands for taking the first step. And I'm also of the strong belief that when you set any goal, you have to take the first step straight away. Don't just leave it on your desk and say, I'll get started next week, or I'll wait for the end of the month, because then that motivation wears off. Once you've worked through the smartest method and developed your plan, you're going to feel really inspired and clear about what you want. So it's important to tap into that right then and there, that very moment. So don't wait for the perfect try, don't wait for the stars to align, just take the first step. And that can be something really simple as just picking up the phone and calling someone and say, hey, I've set this great goal, I'd really like to talk about it with you. Or, booking an appointment with someone you need to meet with who can help you achieve your goal. So just take the first step, and then the plan helps you outline the rest of the steps, which you then just take one after the other, and then the goal is much more likely to succeed.
I think this is a wonderful way to break things up in a way that gives you a process, but one that is easy to manage.
Much easier to manage. And I'll be honest, there's a little bit of work involved in using the smartest method, and my book takes you through it step by step. So at first glance, it might look like a lot of work is involved, but it really breaks it down. So you can work on one part of the method each day, and the book actually has the goal construction process at the end of each chapter. So you read the chapter on, for example, small and specific, which is the first step, and then the questions are geared around that, and you'll be able to answer those questions much better once you've read that part of the book. So you go through it day by day, and then you've got this really detailed plan by the end, and then you've got a lot more certainty, a lot more focus, and a lot more sort of drive and ambition to make it happen, because all the work you do in the Smartest method is really laying the foundation of that goal. And, you know, a goal is like a house. It's only as strong as the foundation that it's built on. So you really have to put all that work in, but it's worth it. It pays off.
And imagine just what it's going to be like at the end of it, to say, I've done this, and you realise that the very process that you followed worked.
It does, and I practice what I preach. I don't just chuck out ideas out there and say, hey, try this. You know, I actually use the Smartest method to write my book. As I was creating it, I then used it to finish the final product, and that's what helped me achieve it.
That is great.
Yeah, so it does work. I've shared it with a few other people along the way, and they've found it very effective, and it really helped them to think outside the box. And so, yeah, there's lots of little gold nuggets in there, which you can find when you read the book, that will get you thinking in a different way, and maybe getting you to do things you may have never done before. And then your goals will just happen a lot more effortlessly.
In terms of the method that you've put together, where have you drawn from that? Is it a series of places, or is it one thing in particular?
Yeah, it comes from about 10 years of my own personal professional experience, all wrapped up into this method. So a lot of it is based on the methods of life coaching. And for those of your listeners who aren't aware of what life coaching is all about getting really clear on who you are and what you want, and asking yourself really quality questions. So a life coach doesn't tell you what to do with your life. A life coach asks you questions to help you bring out the most honest answers about what you want. Because we've all got the answers inside us already. Sometimes we just don't recognize them, or we don't know how to convey what we want. So the method's based on aspects of life coaching and various aspects of personal development, but it's also very practical as well. For example, the section time-framed and task-orientated is probably the most practical part of the method, where it asks you to take a real look at how you spend your time and allocating time to certain things. And then task-orientated is, tasks are what create our habits, and our habits are what create our success. So breaking your goal down into tasks that you can do on a consistent basis then helps you form those new habits, which will make you a bit more proactive about your goals.
Mm. The journey in writing the book, what period of time are we looking at?
From start to finish, as into when it was released this week, about a year.
Gee, that's amazing. I would have thought it would have been longer than that, but I do remember you talking about it. And again, the beauty of the real strengths of social media is following your journey along the way. You know, just seeing how the book's coming along, and you've done some wonderful marketing via that to let us know that it's coming, it's on its way, I'm nearly done, I'm up to this stage, and you've done the book launch, and now you've got this wonderful book. So, how does that feel for you?